Hey guys, welcome to Comedy on Vinyl. A few things up top before we get going with this episode, which is Daniel Weidenfeld, who is one of the executive producers of China, Illinois on Adult Swim. It's a great show. It's on Sundays at 11:30 p.m. on Adult Swim / Cartoon Network. But yeah, in case you guys have been wondering, we've been recording just a ton of episodes, mostly people coming over here and recording. But there's one very special episode. It's actually going to be 2 episodes. Coming up in the next few weeks, I got to interview Rusty Warren. Mike came out with me, and we interviewed her for about an hour and a half, and it was one of the most wonderful interviews I've ever participated in. It was amazing. It was fun. She's hilarious still. That should be no surprise to anybody, but some people want to know. That some people's first question is, hey, what's she like? It's like, well, she's hilarious. Frank. She's very frank and just sweet. It's just a great episode. Anyway, I just wanted to sort of tease that as best I could. It's coming up soon. Otherwise, just enjoy this episode. Again, Daniel Weidenfeld, awesome guy. China, Illinois, hilarious show. It's on Sundays at 11:30 p.m. on Adult Swim.
All right, anyway, this is a Comedy on Vinyl podcast. This week, I have Daniel Weidenfeld with me. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, all right, first of all, let's get this out of the way. You can talk about it more. Not that I don't want to talk about it. China, Illinois.
China, Illinois, we're on our second season right now on Adult Swim. Mm-hmm. We grew from these shorts that I used to work at this website called Super Deluxe, which was Turner's way, their failed way of merging Adult Swim and YouTube together.
Right.
Didn't work out particularly well, but it was incredible. It was an amazing experience, and I worked with some incredible people. But I met Brad Neely over there, who was he had just come off the George Washington short. I don't know if people are familiar. This sort of animated, or not, wasn't animated. These single panel drawings edited together for this rap song, Fake Mythology of George Washington, how he invented cocaine and fucked a bunch of bears. And so I was a big fan of that, and then serendipitously I started working with Brad. We were doing these shorts, Professor Brothers and Baby Cakes. They were 4 minutes. And then a couple years later, Adult Swim wanted to try it as a show, so we started working together on it again. Did 11-minute episodes for the first season, and now we're doing 22-minute episodes.
That's awesome.
So we're growing.
That's awesome.
We're halfway through the second season now. People seem to really like it. Yeah. Hopefully. I know people on Twitter don't lie, right? They're pretty honest.
Yeah, I think that's as honest as it
Not
gets.
that you should exclusively go by what strangers say online, but they've been shockingly supportive of the show.
That's good.
Yeah, that's all. So we air Sundays. I'm going to plug it shamelessly. To start. I'll do it throughout.
That's fine.
Sundays, 11:30 on Adult Swim. I think we have 5 more episodes left to air. We're halfway through this run.
Is it weird that my expectation every time somebody from Adult Swim comes on, that I really expect them to maybe knife me? Or, you know what I mean? Get really awkward, stare at me for the whole half an hour? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I definitely understand. I think that's something that
I'm joking about the knife me, but
the knife and scaring, and everyone who I meet just assumes we're like some deranged lunatic, like drug addict or pothead. I don't even smoke pot anymore. I used to love smoking weed all the time. It was I wish I could smoke weed. I just can't. Constitutionally, I just can't handle it. I'll start crying, or I'll run away, or I'll fall asleep. It's terrible, but everyone is so surprised that we don't just get high all the time. It's like, how do you come up with this if you're not super high? And it's like, because I like to think we're creative people.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it clearly comes out here. What would come out as a crippling emotional, like, assault on other people if you were high is coming out
exactly
on digital, I would say paper, but it's not paper. So, all right, you wanted to talk about Chris Rock's Bring the Pain, which actually came up on, I'll say, yesterday's episode. I have no idea what order these are going to go up in, but we talked about it a little bit, where we were talking about how my guest Omar Dorsey thought that Martin Lawrence was the first hip-hop comedian, and that Chris Rock was kind of the next guy to, hold that mantle. But you had a very specific reason for bringing this up. This is special to you for a particular reason.
Yeah, I mean, I was 15 years old at the time. It was like 1996, I believe. It was November. It might have been late October, early November. It was like midway through, like the first semester of that year in high school for me. I grew up in Washington, D.C. And, I mean, I was the luckiest person in the world to get pneumonia this 1 week when Bring the Pain actually premiered on HBO,
Oh,
and I
that's good.
taped it. Like, I was a huge fan of Chris Rock. I didn't have great expectations. I don't even think I necessarily had good taste in things back then.
Yeah.
But, like, I love CB4.
Yeah.
Pookie from New Jack City was, like, probably one of my favorite characters ever.
Sure.
Nat X on Saturday Night Live. He was this marginal guy to the rest of the world, but
Sure.
even though he wasn't particularly great up until, I think, Bring the Pain really was the genesis or the resurgence of his career. I was lucky enough to, like, stay home. I was so sick. Like, I couldn't breathe. I was coughing. It was disgusting. My mom was worried I was going to die. But for 1 week, I was stayed home from school. I saw this comedy special. It was the first comedy special, I think. Like, there were other things. Like, I was 11 years old at the time. And I loved Andrew Dice Clay just because he, like, told really filthy nursery rhymes.
Of course, yeah.
I also, like, silk boxer shorts. It wasn't reflective of anything great. But Bring the Pain aired, and I watched it every day, and I got so obsessed with it, and I memorized every single line on this thing, and, you know, from that special. I rewatched it for the first time in, like, probably 8 years yesterday, just to sort of get a sense of it, and it still holds up so well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the best part of the pneumonia was actually, like, I didn't have to do any schoolwork.
Right.
And, like, I don't know what was wrong with my high school, but, like, they didn't make me actually go back and relearn anything that I missed. I had one science teacher who must have been mentally ill, because the only thing she had me do was, on the test, whenever something came up from the period of time where I was out sick, all I had to do was learn how to spell pneumonia. Like, all I had to do, like, it was the easiest thing. I'm horrible at science. I can memorize to spell, like, a 9-letter word. Not even sure if it's 9 letters. But to this day, I will always spell pneumonia right. So I got out of subjects, but then I also, like, memorized this incredible special, which to me felt like Rocky. Because I didn't know enough at the time, but, like, Chris Rock was always an okay stand-up.
Sure. Yeah.
But he was never really, like, a great stand-up until he came out and just, like, owned that stage.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone, like, even to this day, Chappelle does it, but in a very different way. But
Sure.
Chris Rock, like, he was like acting up there. It was this whole new persona. Like, even though, like, his use of repetition throughout this whole hour-long special, like, it was so masterful. Where I even think I probably lost it. But, like, the way I spoke for probably 4 years unknowingly after this in, like, this upper middle class private high school in Washington D.C. surrounded by white people, I was mimicking Chris Rock, and I said these probably said these wildly racially charged things just because people didn't know the special.
Right.
So I started saying it as my own, and he was in Washington D.C. He recorded that in Tacoma Park. So I mean, the way I would talk about Mary and Barry at 14 or 15 years old to, like, my high school friends was crazy. But yeah, so that was, like, that was the first really important comedy special. And then right after, it was weird, like, 96 was a strange year. I just looked all this up now. I didn't even put it together. But then Dave Attell had this half-hour special, I think, that came on sometime in the year. And on New Year's night, I was a nerd. I stayed at home, happened to catch this Dave Attell half-hour special. And it was the opposite of Chris Rock. I mean, like, it was just abstract, absurd, quick punches, like, just, like, one-line jokes. And, like, that really formed my whole... Because Chris Rock was telling stories.
Sure.
He was, like, really doing... He was properly setting up with, like, real care and grace. And Dave Attell was just, like... He could just say a word funny.
Yeah.
And you would laugh. And that half-hour special, I just remember this one joke. I mean, I don't remember enough. I couldn't even find it. But he had this joke. I was 14. I should have been laughing about it. But he just wanted everyone to be... He really believed in drunk driving. He just wanted everyone on the street to be drunk.
Yes.
Because then they would just swerve at the same time. And get out. That's, like, horrible. That's terrible advice. But I didn't know anything. And it, like, doesn't even make any sense. It's not even a particularly good joke. But at 14 years old, it was, like, the funniest thing I'd ever heard. And I was like, oh, shit. Everyone should get really drunk and just start driving around. Like, I believed it. So, those are, like, the first... I've had to think a lot about, you know... I don't know why as well. Like, I gravitate towards, just as a fan, like, African-American black comedians. I tend to just find that sort of humor. I gravitate towards it. I think black people are funnier than white people. I can say that, right? Is that a straight...
You can say that.
And I think there's been this amazing, you know, from Chris Rock to Chappelle, which was all... you know, Patrice O'Neal was one of the first, maybe I'm wrong about this, but from this, like, newer, like, this most recent generation of, you know, black comedian. He took it away from race a little bit. I think Chris Rock, especially, like, in those first few specials when he really hit, and Chappelle, like, that was really the main focus of. Patrice was just, like, angry.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, race was obviously a part of it. It was part of the stage persona. And I was lucky enough to meet him once.
Oh.
And I tried to get him to work for Super Deluxe. He was just the most amazing, like, angry, like, intense person.
Yeah.
But so funny and actually really sweet. I tried to get him to do something. But his special from, like, I think it was 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember? It was like I think it was an HBO thing. It might have been. I don't think it was Showtime. It was this comedy special where I just remember this one joke, and I'm just talking like repeating people's jokes.
You're allowed to do that.
I'm sorry to everyone listening.
No.
But he had this one joke, which was the funniest thing I'd ever heard at the time. But it was he's like, I jack off so much in the shower. Sometimes I just get scared that a baby hand's just going to come up from the drain, just grab me and pull me down into it. And it was like so intense and really like, oh my God, I believe he is depraved. He also did this amazing thing where he would like push an audience away. Mm-hmm. He would get everybody on his side and then just start saying really horrible things to him, like turning everyone in the audience against him.
Yeah.
And subtly, you wouldn't even realize that, like, after he pushed everyone away, he would just get you back in his good graces.
Yeah.
And just like you would fall in love with him by the end of it, and you didn't even realize you were kind of angry at him.
Mm-hmm.
But then he would just turn you back. Like he's probably one of my favorite comedians of all time too. That was one of the saddest things when he passed away.
Sure.
Maybe not one of the saddest things, but that was like an incredibly sad moment.
Of course.
In comedy.
How is it? Okay, how should we start this? Let's start this with what's the first thing you did comedically ever? Can you remember? Like, as in, like, wrote a thing, performed in a thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I used to write. My brother ran this magazine. My brother's just Nick Weidenfeld. He used to run development for Adult Swim. Now he's over at Fox. He does their late night programming that competes with SNL. Saturday nights. It's called ADHD.
Yeah.
Animation Domination High Def. But he was a journalist. And so he would go around writing for different magazines, like mostly, you know, all kinds of different places, but mostly like, you know, small, like mass appeal, pop culture sort of places. There was this magazine called While You Were Sleeping that he started writing for that was based in Bethesda, Maryland. It was a graffiti magazine. It's kind of like a porno magazine, but just, I mean, they had celebrities in it, but it was just on the cusp of being so filthy and terrible. But it was based in Washington, so my brother was in college when he started writing for them, and then he introduced me to the guy who was running it at the time, and my brother and this other guy, they had me write just articles for them. And so I was probably 17 years old. I didn't know anything about graffiti. Sure. And I had to interview these people and not know who the fuck they were.
Oh my God.
And I mean, it was really funny because they didn't care.
Sure.
But I had to interview Lemmy from Motorhead. And one of the funniest things I think I've ever done without even realizing at the time, because I didn't know anything about Motorhead. I listened to just listened to rap music pretty much up until this point. But I just asked him, I said, is it hard being so fucking old and doing this? And he got so mad at me.
Oh my God.
It wasn't purposely comedic, and no one was there to really see how scary it was. Like, it was over the phone, thank God.
Oh God,
but so I had to do, that to me was probably one of the funniest things I've ever done.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, I mean, it wasn't comedic.
Right.
But it was biting.
That's undeniably funny.
Yeah.
But and then, you know, again, one of the things I talked with Derek Beckles about on Adult Swim is this sort of the aesthetic of discomfort. So, I mean, you're familiar with discomfort. Most comedians are. I just wonder what you do to channel it. Or if it's just part of how you write. If that's just part of who you are.
I also try to... I'm the opposite in a lot of ways. Like, I like to disarm people for the most part by making them comfortable. Yeah. I think for me personally, and a lot of how I function in day-to-day life as well, is I really want people to be comfortable around me. I don't know what kind of compulsion this is, but then I feel like then you can manipulate, you know, small ways to make... You can needle people once you have them on your side without them even necessarily even knowing about it. But, I mean, I don't particularly like to make people uncomfortable. Like, I probably have an anger... I probably can't control my anger sometimes. Sure. Not proud of that. Right. And I like to fuck with people. Of course. But I really would prefer that everyone around me... I want everyone to be happy and comfortable. It's like a strange thing. I don't know where I get it from. I don't even know if it sounds like it could be... This is like therapy, right? Yeah, that's what the point of this was. Yeah. Probably it's like it's like a selfish thing in some capacity as well, where it just makes me feel better knowing that everyone else... I don't need to worry about everyone by worrying about everyone so much. Right. So I didn't really answer your question, but... That's okay. But
That's
yeah,
okay. You
I
made
don't
me
like.
forget
I
what
disagree
jokes
with Dick. I like to make everyone so happy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's.
No, it was really me saying the aesthetic of discomfort, and him probably just kindly agreeing with me.
But so you are. So you're. If you don't mind me turning the tables on you a
That's
little
fine.
bit. So you're a stand-up comedian.
I'm not a stand-up, but I'm a writer.
Oh, you are a writer.
And actor.
I thought you were
All that
also
good
a
shit.
stand-up.
No, I have not the balls to do that.
So yeah. So okay. So my question is this then. So how did you get so into the idea of comedy records where it's like there's still performance? I assume that maybe there was a connection between the
Not like that, but I mean, if you look on the wall, you'll see in order generally. Actually, yeah, in order my influences. It starts out with Weird Al. Again, I'm not a musician, but Cheech and Chong is the big one. Mm-hmm. I love sketch. I love audio sketch.
You smoke a lot of weed?
No, once ever.
Wow.
Once ever. Believe I'd do it again, but you know, I'm not paying.
It's hard to find in Los Angeles.
I know, it's impossible. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like sketch. I love audio sketch is my favorite thing of all time, which is weird because nobody does it, nobody buys it, nobody produces it.
It leaves so much more to your imagination. Those old radio plays,
For sure.
You know, working in animation, I experience that firsthand. Where it's like if you can sell a joke without any visuals, it's going to hit.
Yeah.
Then it's like you have to like be cautious in how you sort of like further the jokes. But if you can make someone laugh without them seeing anything, it's like that's much harder.
It's a ridiculous skill. I don't necessarily have it, but it is my favorite thing. But yeah, I became obsessed because, like, you know, I got some of these passed down to me, and I would listen to them obsessively. I'd memorize the 7 words that you can't say on television, all that stuff. And I realized comedy was something I had to do. And I became obsessed with it.
Are your parents in comedy at all?
No. My mom started a theater company when she was in high school, but after that didn't do anything.
Were you around, though, for when the theater company was? Oh, wow.
No.
So you never performed, though? Did you act in high school?
No, not really. No, I wanted to.
Did you write sketch?
Yes,
okay.
A lot. Yeah. I made a shitty little album when I was in high school, just out of high school, and put that out when mp3.com was a thing. Yeah.
I didn't even know mp3.com was a thing.
It was a thing at one point. Yeah.
What does that even mean?
You could
MP3s, anything in MP.
Basically, you put your content up there. You could advertise and sell your albums to people. They would buy them and pretend you had an album.
How old were you when you put this out?
19.
And how many did you sell?
Oh, probably north of 5.
Hey,
you know,
people you knew?
No, weirdly enough.
That's incredible.
Yeah, people like across. Like, we were a big hit in Australia.
Oh, really?
Big,
I mean, relatively speaking.
Four albums.
Did you really sell 4 albums in Australia?
I don't know if it was, but that was our biggest downloaders.
Should go back, find those metrics.
I should.
Report back. We're in the internet age. You can find all that.
That's true.
It's still.
Yeah.
MP3.com that isn't around.
Not really. It's not the same thing. It's more like a Napster, more like...
So it's illegal.
I'm so old. I said Napster.
No,
Napster exists, but it's not a, you know...
Lars Ulrich didn't sue them. They weren't that big.
That's true.
They're no Napster. So I'm going to keep prying. Wait, so... This is my turn now to making you comfortable or uncomfortable. This is what I want to do in your own house. I love talking about myself. I'm not a gracious guest. Wait, so do you write television or sketch?
Yes.
Both?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You know.
All comedic though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote. I did write. Oddly enough, for one comedian, I wrote a drama. I wrote a fucking horror movie. But yeah.
Was it good?
I liked it. Yeah,
that was a feature, though.
It was gross.
That was a movie.
Yeah, it was really gross.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing I love most about. I'm a huge horror fan. I know the return, like people who are listening just don't care about horror.
No, they might.
I'm pissing. It was really weird talking about being a really gross guest. But I think that like horror movies and comedy like share so many similarities. I don't know if you saw that movie You're Next, but it was like one of the funniest movies.
Oh, not yet.
Of this year, and not in a traditional sense, but you were so on guard where when like there was one character in particular, like anytime he spoke, he was just so funny where like it made the movie bearable because it's a family trapped in a house just getting killed. So like I mean it's so dark. It's channeling that darkness in a very different way. Where a lot of comedians, when you were saying just like to make people uncomfortable, like. But I understand how a funny person could write. Mm-hmm. I'm not the biggest fan of his movies, but Eli Roth, for example, is a very funny guy from what I hear.
Yes.
So just writes these disgusting, violent...
There are demons he's working on.
Yeah.
There were demons I was working on making that script. Don't ever need to write it again. Well, something like that again.
You get those demons out?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's good.
So what were your biggest... Because you were deep in comedy. What were your biggest influences? You probably talk about this on your...
Not really.
All right, so what are your biggest influences?
Well, Cheech and Chong for sketch.
Okay, yeah, but I'm talking about when you were in high school.
Oh, when I was
you were
in high
watching
school?
stuff, because I imagine that's when you started writing.
That is when I started writing. Let's see. Kids in the Hall was very big, but it was not highly available because we didn't get. I lived in a town of about 200 people. So
Where?
upstate New York.
Okay.
Very tiny. So our cable was still limited. So by the time we got Comedy Central, I was almost out of high school. So all the good shit had passed me by. I have never seen Mr. Show.
I'm going to say you need to actually...
That's a show. A couple sketches. My mom has seen that show, because after I left, we got HBO, and she got to watch it.
Fan of Mr.
My mom's
Show?
a fan of Mr. Show, and I love those guys. I love everything they do, but I've never seen the show.
You should watch it. I mean, for me, that was... That actually... Comedy specials aside, I'd like go back and come up with a bunch of bullshit to say about comedy specials, and I do love everything I talked about, and Chris Rock and Chappelle are probably the two best comedians, or at least like most influential in a very strange way, like what actually inspired me from stand-up.
Yeah.
But from a stand-up perspective, but Mr. Show, when I found that, I was in high school, I was just smoking weed every single day. I didn't give a shit about anything. I went to school, but like I didn't care about it. Like, I'm lucky I even got into college. I ended up doing well afterwards, but in high school I would literally just smoke weed every day and rewatch every episode of Mr. Show.
Yeah.
It was like the most important thing, and I would bond with people. Like, I would make all of my friends based off of who would watch Mr. Show.
Yeah.
And get high with me.
Of course.
But, I mean, you go back and watch it now, and like the first season, the first two seasons, there are a couple sketches that work, but it feels a little dated. Yeah. But those, I mean, and it's, Dino Stamatopoulos, who is one of the funniest people I've ever met in my entire life, like, if he weren't alive, I don't even think I would even be interested in doing comedy. Sure. Like, the third and fourth season of that show in particular were the most inspirational things for me. Like, you don't know the show well enough, so I won't go on and on about different sketches. I admitted
that on the podcast.
But you should go back. That's really unacceptable. You should go back
I understand.
How did you not? So you haven't gone back?
We did not have HBO at the time.
But the DVDs have come out. DVDs have been invented.
Yes, that is true. You make a strong point. But I was in high school. I had no interest in what was out at the time. I was doing what I'm doing now, studying old comedy. Not an excuse necessarily, but since then I have just not had the need to go back and watch it. I know that at some point I will sit down, watch it, feel bad for having never seen it, and then go on with my life. Hopefully not kill myself,
I would hope not. Yeah. That'd be a really sad...
I do have a friend who's going to lend them to me. I really can't believe I'm admitting this on the podcast.
You do need to go. I mean, because there were so many more people you would recognize from comedy in this world.
For sure. No, and I know at this point...
It would just make a lot more sense. The past 10 years, I think, would make a lot more sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's reasonable. I mean, I love everybody who's on the show.
Yeah,
all big fans. None of them will come on my show. Maybe that's because I haven't seen Mr. Show. Not that
I get Dino on.
I'm sure he does want to come on. Actually,
I'm sure.
Speaking of him,
Dino would go crazy for like old records.
Yeah. There's one album he wants to talk about, and only one. He won't talk about any others.
What's that record?
We've already done it, but we're going to do it again. Albert Brooks' A Star Is Bought. It's a good album. It's a very good album. He loves it, but he doesn't want to talk about any others. So
really?
It's fun, yeah.
I mean, his perspective on it will be different, I'm sure, than... Who talked about that first? Who got it first?
Cole Stratton, who co-hosts Pop My Culture podcast. Awesome guy. Brilliant guy.
He took that record,
He stole it.
Did you have him come on, go head to head?
I've thought about it, actually. I did think about that.
Quiz him. I don't know what you win.
The other thing about Dino, too,
There's a bath mat outside of your apartment. You can just give it to whoever knows the most about that record.
Disgusting bath mat that is not mine. You came into the smell of somebody's gross bath mat and stale pot.
I will say you have two, not just one, but two beautiful looking vacuum cleaners.
Thank you very much. One of them is a rug cleaner.
Oh, okay.
So that is not redundant entirely.
It does make sense. Yeah. It does. It's acceptable.
Those are...
That's acceptable. What were you asking?
No, we weren't. No. You're still talking about me, and now I feel weird.
No, I'm
comfortable. And
I told you, I like turning those tables. Give me a chance.
No, the thing about Dino is that's another big influence on me was Conan, and since he wrote for Conan, he created a word that people don't realize was They invented the term crunk before it was a rap term.
Is that actually true, though?
Yes. They wanted to create a fake swear word that they could say on air, and they said, we can't get in trouble for this because it's not real. And apparently Dino was critical in the creation of that. And they created it, and it's now a word. Now, some people say they were created separately. That can happen. I don't give a fuck.
Indirectly, though, to have that...
Absolutely.
I mean, to try to come up with a fake curse word, like to come up with a curse word that can be on TV, and then years later... people just start saying that every single place you go. Like, that must be a surreal
amazing.
experience.
It's a fucking amazing thing, and that's just that kind of pop culture impact is enough to put them in the annals of comedy history. You know? Even if they hadn't done great shit afterwards. You know?
Totally. I could not agree with you more.
So back to you.
Back to me.
Okay. So let's go back to your influences, or at least Chris Rock as an influence.
Yeah.
Can you feel anything particular about his influence on you, or is it just in general this wave of Chris Rock went through you?
I mean, for me, growing up, he was such an influential person. I mean, he was marginalized in a lot of ways, which is how I really feel like his influence was strongest before he got really famous.
Yeah.
Up until Bring the Pain. Like, it really feels like the story of Rocky to me. Mm-hmm. You know, from not being given many opportunities to do roles on Saturday Night Live, except for obviously like the black character,
right?
And he was always so funny on it, and like Nat X from that period of time, like that's who I remember the most.
Yeah.
And I used to watch Saturday Night Live every single week then, up through like Pookie, because I was like New Jack City. I saw with my brother. He went opening night, and he was probably 12. It's way too young to see New Jack City.
Holy shit.
Got so scared, or his friend got so scared who he went with, where they had to leave, and then they took me a week later to go see it. And I was 10. I had no business seeing New Jack City, but Pookie, it was like Chris Rock. Like, I knew him.
Yeah.
And then this role, which was like pretty amazing, intense role for a guy who I just saw was a comedian.
Yeah.
Like, that shaped a lot, seeing him sort of like play this really dramatic role. Then CB4 was like one of my favorite movies. I know nobody in the world really cared for it, but again, it was a very it was like a personal movie.
Yeah.
To me, like, I grew up loving and listening to NWA.
Okay.
I didn't know anything about LA, and it was like one of the first few, like, I guess with the exception of like Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society, you're learning a lot about me and what my actual influences are.
I like it.
But it was like one of the first few like LA movies that I really, really experienced, and I didn't even have any idea. I didn't know what LA was like.
Sure.
I had no idea that I'd ever even moved here. I was from Washington, D.C. I was from like a suburb in Washington.
Right.
So this guy who nobody really cared about, he had a couple like marginal comedy specials that I actually remember seeing but not really caring about before. And then like when that came on, that special, like the main thing was, it was seeing a guy who was always like important to me, but then just become the best.
Sure.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and he's talked about it, and I've heard people tell stories about where everyone was like, you know, he was like, I'm never going to be a famous actor. My career is almost, it's over if I go in that direction of doing movies.
Right.
I just got to become the best at what I can do. And when you see that special, when you just watch him walk up, they're like, there's a confidence to it. But I don't even think he knows exactly what he's doing at the time that special is shot. Like, he commands that stage, but it's a really small audience compared to every other. It's some theater in Tacoma. It's like, even because the next special he did, it was it's what I confused this with. I had you watch the wrong special. At least because Bring the Pain was first, and then Bigger and Blacker.
Bigger and Blacker.
Like the jump from Bigger and Blacker. Or from Bring the Pain, he wrote that book. He did Bigger. He did Bigger and Black, and was like, I think that wasn't at Madison Square Garden, but it was at a huge,
massive
theater. I mean, it's like, that's a story that I love the most. Like watching somebody that I cared so much about. It's like, in a sense, it's like Louis.
Yeah,
you know, it was a guy who I'd always follow just because of the Chris Rock show.
Sure.
Conan. Pootie Tang he directed, which again was a thing. Was at that point in time. I mean, it was one of the funny. It was probably when I saw that, I had not laughed so hard in my entire life. I haven't rewatched it in years, but it held such an important place. And like, part of it was I was so high in high school.
That's fine.
And that was like, they go hand in hand, I think. But it was, I don't even remember the movie so much, but I remember like Louis C.K. directing this. I was so into it, and then Louis C.K. sort of did that misstep with that special. But then now, like, went on the road is now probably the best living stand-up. Like, it's so tight for him to do a new hour every single year. It's unbelievable. Sick. Now he's winning Emmys. Yeah, and it's like that's a story that really inspires me the most. Where it's like, I don't know if they necessarily have an influence on me necessarily. It'd be really hard for Chris Rock, for me to say with a straight face that Chris Rock has had. It influenced the type of stuff.
Sure. Okay, yeah.
that I do and work on, but the story of him just sort of, really like, fucking, I just gotta master this.
Mm-hmm.
I've realized I've sort of tapped out in this capacity right now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, I've gone as far as I can, so I just gotta become the best that I have to be the best that I can possibly be at this other thing.
Yeah.
And then I can own, then he's been, he started acting a lot more, he started directing a lot more.
Right.
Now Louis can have any role he wants.
It's insane.
Which is, he plays one role.
It's okay.
And he does that really well, but it's like...
And he's such a good fucking director, too.
I know,
on
it's
top
crazy.
Of that. I hate it. I'm jealous of it. I mean...
So, I don't know if there was an actual, personal... Other than the fact that it's, I've always been real... even just working on the Eric Andre show, it's I really just am drawn... I think that, Eric, Hannibal...
Mm-hmm.
The Lucas brothers, Gerard Carmichael,
mm-hmm.
Ron Funches.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some of the people that I think are the funniest out there right now, and I think there is this amazing wave of young black comedians who aren't talking about race.
Mm-hmm.
It is this sort of it's one of the things that I thought was so incredible about working with Eric and Hannibal in that first season. But it's race is never mentioned. There's a talk show with 2 black hosts, and we're at a point where we don't even need to talk about race anymore.
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of because a lot of young black comedians are doing now, the Lucas brothers in particular. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much interesting stuff going on, and it's always been drawn. It's weird. I feel like I have, after this, people are going to think I have some, weird obsession with black culture.
It's okay, though, if you do.
Yeah.
Well, did you grow up in a diverse part? I mean, obviously DC is diverse, but...
DC is very diverse.
But a suburb of...
when I was growing up, me and my brother, we grew up in Georgetown, which is...
Okay.
DC, this is probably one of the reasons. DC is one of the most segregated cities in America, where there's 4 quadrants.
Mm-hmm.
Northwest is almost primarily upper, middle class, and white.
Mm-hmm.
And then the surrounding suburbs outside are in Maryland and Virginia. But then the other 3 quadrants of DC it's changing. It's getting better, but especially when I was growing up, it was really poor, and it was African American.
Yeah.
And growing up, I knew that existed, and also realized how unfair
mm-hmm.
and crazy it was that there was such a strange distribution of wealth,
mm-hmm.
Especially in the city itself. So me and my brother, we had a woman who lived with us, and her nephew came and visited. He was this Filipino guy from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Chris Stern. He was probably 9 years old. My brother's probably 11, and I remember he really introduced us. He gave us our first copy of South Central Cartel.
Uh-huh.
And
oh God.
And NWA. And all of these and then we started really getting into DJ Quick. This could turn into I don't know why I still DJ Quick and Second to None, and I would argue with my friend Daytwan Harden. We in 5th grade we would argue over who was better,
mm-hmm.
NWA or the Ghetto Boys. Mm-hmm. And I always argued NWA, and he argued the Ghetto Boys, and in retrospect I think he was probably right. So Daytwan, if you're listening, the Ghetto Boys, I finally can concede this. But yeah, I just had this it's what I don't know. I can't say that it's rap music just spoke to me in some very strange way, and I still haven't figured out as a upper middle class white kid from Washington D.C. why that is.
Mm-hmm.
But
has it it's obviously a big part of you. Has it influenced your comedy that you can feel? I keep asking, has this influenced your comedy? But is it in a way that you can feel or see or hear?
Yeah. Yes and no, because it's such a specific, strange experience that I've had, but I don't know the tangible ways.
Yeah.
With which I think I think it's all subtext and helps form who you actually become. If I were to just start doing really racially based,
mm-hmm.
it would be pretty strange and inauthentic, and
probably
it would be horrible. So I try to stay away from that.
Yeah.
But it's on a personal level, it's just what I listen to. I started listening to indie rock music. I found out about Pavement.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with the band Pavement.
Mm-hmm.
I found out about Pavement. I did not know that there was good rock music until I was sophomore in college. Mm-hmm. So I'd have been 19 or 20 years old, and I found out about this group, and I became obsessed with Pavement, but they'd been broken up for 4.5, 5 years. I was like
Right.
the lamest person in the world, and suddenly I got so interested and invested, but only at the time where I could see like Stephen Malcolmus do like his mediocre solo projects.
Uh-huh.
I got really into that. And then I steadily got into... This is a music podcast, right?
Oh yeah, uh-huh. That's
But no,
what
and I started getting into, and I started getting into a lot more rock music, and then I ended up moving to Atlanta with my brother.
Mm-hmm.
He worked at Adult Swim. I worked for this amazing woman who's now at Disney. Her name's Khaki Jones. She was the first person who ever hired me out of college. We lived in Atlanta, and then we were working in cartoons in Atlanta. We just started hanging out with a lot of rappers.
Yeah.
So we got
That's awesome.
deeper in that world,
Mm-hmm.
and started hanging out with just the most amazing people out there. And we're lucky to be in Atlanta at a time where there was a really big resurgence in Southern rap music. So
Right.
we were there from sort of not the beginning, but probably a couple years into it, and everyone loved that we worked in cartoons, and we loved the music that they were making. So
Yeah.
it was a pretty symbiotic relationship that we all had together.
And then you did a project that mixed the two.
Yes, my brother created, but that the Freaknik.
Yeah.
With T-Pain,
Mm-hmm.
and I helped my brother out with that, and that was the way that we were really able to meld those two worlds. And Payne was so excited
That's awesome.
about being a part. He is he's so funny and is such a genuine fan of comedy and loves Adult Swim so much.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's everybody though when they find out that we were involved with cartoon, when they would find out that we were involved in cartoons, they would just go crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you? It's funny because when I was first told about China, Illinois, and I had to look it up, and again, I don't watch as much TV as I should. Okay, but the pitch is that it's the reverse of Animal House, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's watching it still doesn't have any recognizable anything, which is what makes it more interesting to me, that it's very original in that way.
That's really astute, because Brad, who I work with on the show, who does all the drawings, and Brad writes all the scripts for it. We have a room of writers where we write the stories. But Brad, it's what I think makes the show so wonderful, and also one of the reasons I love working with Brad. His perspective is so unique. Brad didn't really have a traditional college experience. He was in and out of schools in Arkansas, where he's from. And I mean, his idea of what college is just high school for adults.
Yeah.
It's super high school, where the dean is sort of America's father. It's Hulk Hogan, the most masculine alpha male in the world. And it's the least academic show possible. And I went to Tufts University in Medford, Massachusetts, and I had my college experience was fairly traditional in that respect. And so the goal is to just not treat, and I think it's what makes the show special. There's nothing recognizable about college, except for the fact that there are classes.
Sure.
There is a campus. And it's teachers fuck their students, which I imagine probably happens.
Sure, that probably happens.
In some college campuses.
Right. Androids and fewer of them, though.
Exactly. But yeah, so that's there really is nothing. It's not it's grounded in human experiences,
sure,
but not grounded in any traditional college. It's not Animal House in that respect.
Right.
The teachers are crazier, but now since we've expanded to half hours, the students are crazier as well. It's Hannibal Buress is one of the students. He's the All-American athlete. This guy Ryan Flynn is incredible. He's been in a bunch of stuff. I think he worked for Fuel TV for a while. He plays this nerd character and this sort of guy who just wants to be real tough. And then Chelsea Peretti plays some students, and she's amazing. Brooke Hogan plays a bunch of students, and is unbelievable in the show. We brought her in because Hulk was you should bring my daughter in. She's great. She's a terrific voice actress. She really wants to get into this. And we're well, we have to bring her in. She's Hulk's daughter,
of course.
We ended up bringing her in for season 1, and she did this. We brought her in to do a voice just to see how she could do. We gave her a tour of the studio, and she was so unbelievable. She genuinely just floored us.
Yeah.
So when that happened right before we got a second season, so we're we just got to bring Brooke in. We had no real big characters in mind for her,
right?
But just as a utility player to do all a lot of different female voices.
That's awesome.
She has incredible range. People can't even believe within an episode that she's doing 2 or 3 voices sometimes.
Yeah.
But now the students are able to also do some pretty scandalous stuff.
Is it freeing or more difficult or a little bit of both to work with very few existing stereotypes? It's as though there are stereotypes in it that don't exist in our world but definitely exist in its world. You know what I mean? It's like, clearly this is a thing that exists but only there.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of, again, it's one of the reasons Brad and I work so well together, where it's like his perspective is so strange. Like the accepted knowledge in this world.
Yeah.
And the things that the sacred cows that we try to take down are like the Beach Boys. It's counter service at restaurants is an idea we talk about all the time. There's one episode where Steve, one of the two main brothers he's the head of the history department. Mm-hmm. He just doesn't understand why everyone thinks that Toy Story 3 in our world, but Toy Movie 3 is so popular and why everyone loves it. Like, yeah, it's a fine movie, but it's for kids. It's about toys. It's really colorful. It's not the best movie of the year, and so we try to take down Toy Movie 3 and the people or Toy Story 3 and the people that love it. So it's like those are the kind of things that are so unique to Brad that I just like. I love to glom onto them because he's like, well, that's accepted knowledge. Is it even interesting? It's like, no. These things we're talking about are not accepted knowledge. This is so unique and funny that we got to just go with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if I answered the question about like the stereotypes themselves, but I think the worldview itself is so unique to the show because it's like, South Park. Matt and Trey have their own ideas that nobody else, like their point of view is so different and unique. Mm-hmm. Like the things that they talk about, especially pop culture related, are things that they are trying to take down that nobody else even might care about before they see it. And so we try to do that in our own way as well. It's not necessarily, pop culture satire in a lot of ways. It's more about Americana.
Right.
That's sort of like those are the bigger ideas that we want to sort of go after.
Is that shit, sorry. Is that easier? Is it easier to be as free?
I think so. I do, because I think, when you're going after a lot of pop culture stuff, it's about the moment you're in.
Yeah.
For us, it's more freeing because I think we do touch on like big pop cultural like tentpole things. But it's a lot more evergreen when we can just go after these big blanket things that nobody really necessarily is even... Toy Story 3 came out 3 years ago, and now we're going after it.
Yeah.
The Beach Boys, I don't think anybody's thought of the Beach Boys in 20 years.
Right.
Except for didn't Adam Levine do a Beach Boys thing? The Grammys a couple years ago?
Sure.
Something. Adam Levine might be the only person to care about the Beach Boys in the past 20 years. But yeah, I do think it's more freeing just because we don't need to be concerned. We're like, what's big in the moment right now? We're in animation, like, a lot of people will come up to us and be like, well, what about South Park? They put these episodes out in, 6 days, essentially.
Yeah.
And yeah, they can get that. The benefit of that is they get to do pop culture stuff. But for us, it takes a year. We've been doing, like, the first episode premiered in October. It was October 22nd. And we were essentially we started the writing process, in January of 2012. Shit. So it took a year and a half to get everything off the ground to do it. I mean, when we did the first season of the Eric Andre show, when I was working on that show, we did 10 episodes in 4 months. 4.5 months we were done editing.
Yeah.
And it was up on the air. It was like... That was a real... Like, live action is obviously stressful in a lot of ways. Sure. There's a lot of... there's the time pressure. But... I mean, it takes so long where we have to do stuff. We can't bet on like a big pop cultural thing happening now. So it is more free because we don't need to worry about like what's going to be big in the moment.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think South Park has changed the perspective a lot of people have on animation because it's such a big show that they do go after like whatever is happening right in that second.
Yeah.
And The Simpsons, I think, does that as well, even though the time constraints are much different. Like they do, whether it's the guest stars they have, we don't have that luxury.
Right. Okay, so if you were going to recommend this, there's something wrong with my throat. If you're going to recommend this to somebody who didn't know Chris Rock, maybe, or didn't know early Chris Rock, how do you condense it into a couple sentences and why this would be important to listen to? I think you've already said it, but let's condense it.
Yeah, because when I said it, I took 7,000 hours. I think I've been here for 14 years right now. I mean, the biggest thing is, like, I mean, if you just want to watch a guy transform from, like, good to great, this is probably the most representative comedy special I've ever seen of that.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy was always big.
Sure.
In SNL. Like, because the only other special I would compare it to, just in terms, was Delirious was before Raw, right?
I can't remember.
I think Delirious was.
I think you're
now
right.
we both sound ignorant. You have to edit this out if I'm wrong. But I mean, that was the thing. But he was still the biggest thing on SNL at that moment. Chris Rock. This was like his. It felt like Rocky.
Yeah.
It really like watch him go out there and just knock everyone out. Was such an important. Like I could tell as a 15-year-old with pneumonia.
Yeah.
I could tell how he had just raised his game up. And for me, it doesn't explain why the special's so important, but it's like the most inspirational thing in the world to me to just watch somebody who has always been okay, and that was like a personal favorite to be everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
Like I knew that this was, and I didn't know anything, but I knew like the game had changed. And also it holds up. I mean, the whole special's about Marion Barry and the Million Man March.
Right.
And there's a lot of Bill Clinton stuff in there.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it was. Yeah, there's a bunch of Bill Clinton stuff in there, especially about like getting the blowjobs, like who's and cheating,
right?
But I mean, going back and watching it, like it still holds up. This last bit he does, and this is the best part of the whole special to me. And we've tried to mimic this in China in one scene, but when Chris Rock does that whole bit about a girl finding out that you've been cheating and then holds it against you forever, where you have to have a phone where you're calling, you're checking in every 7 seconds, and he does this bit where he's like checking in with his girl while he like, you know, the police are after him, and then he's shot, and then he's back home. But the way he ends it is he just throws his microphone down. He just throws it, and it's so like he knows he won. It's like his KO punch, and it is like you watch and you're just in awe for a second. I mean, even just for that last like 8-minute bit, it's worth watching. It's like to see a guy master just an art. Like that to me is the most important part about it.
And I think it's actually it would just to put in my own thing is that I was a person who was not impressed with him up until then. I didn't care. I'd mostly seen him on In Living Color, where they used him even worse than they used him anywhere else. It didn't work. And then when I saw that special, I'm like, oh, fuck, this guy, was he doing this the whole time? Clearly he wasn't. Clearly this was, like you said, this is him stepping up. But, yeah, that it worked for somebody who really loved him and for somebody who didn't care. Like, that at the same time it all comes together, and clearly this guy's a genius.
Yeah. And it was the first one. Like, you go back and watch the earlier stuff, and it just doesn't hold up. Because everything I had referenced earlier, I know isn't great. I probably even back then knew it wasn't great, but I was a kid, so I, like... Sure. It's what appealed to me. You know, you don't need to have good taste when you're a kid.
No.
I knew objectively this was something special that I was watching at that time. And, I mean, to go back and watch it, because I was thinking about this now, like, 96 was his first big year. He has been so famous.
Yeah.
Because 17 years.
Yeah.
It's a long time to be on. I know it's like there's been ups and downs, obviously, like some of the movies, but to be on top for that long, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And it all started there. So, if for somebody that's not familiar necessarily with his comedic body of work, obviously you probably know who Chris Rock is because he's in a bunch of movies. Like, if you want to see where it really started, like this is where to watch it. This is why to watch. That's why you should watch it.
That's awesome. So, all right, you plug the show, but plug it again. Plug Twitter, plug websites, everything. Yeah,
China, Illinois, Adult Swim, Sundays at 11:30 p.m. Adult Swim is on the Cartoon Network. It won't read Adult Swim on your cable box. So go to Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, 11:30, Sunday night, China, Illinois. Do it with my best friend and partner, Brad Neely. I'm the luckiest person in the world. Twitter, D. Weidenfeld. Instagram, D. Weidenfeld. You said to plug stuff, so I'm going to plug everything. Do it. That's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this, man.
Thank you.
This was a lot of fun.
I talked a lot.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I didn't get to dig deep enough into you, and now...
That's fine. You can come on again and just interview me.
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right, I'm into it. Next time, when you're ready to do that, let's do it.
This is a lot of fun, man.
Yeah,
thank you
man.
so much.
Appreciate
Everybody,
you.
please watch the show, and as always, have a good thing. Comedy on Vinyl is a production of Stolen Dress Entertainment. It is produced by Mike Warden and is hosted and edited by Jason Klamm. Visit stolendress.com to listen to our other podcasts, to read our blogs, read our tweets, watch our videos, and read our books. Please subscribe on iTunes, rate us highly, and write your reviews. You can follow us on Facebook.com/Comedy on Vinyl and Twitter @Comedy on Vinyl.
She painted on the spot. She found a pair of overalls at the bottom of the pot. Him Nolan, he got ripping mad. His eyes were bulging out. He jumped upon the piano and loudly he did shout, who threw the overalls in Mrs. Murphy's chowder? Nobody spoke, so he shouted all the louder.